really significant victory recently. Of course, the hotel, which had fired, strong union supporters almost a year ago. Now there's a judge through the National Labor Relations Board who has ordered the hotel to bring those people back to work. I think there's 13 people altogether from the room service department were fired last year, and of course with full compensation and benefits, back pay. And so what the judge had said is that they were not allowed to make unilateral changes, including cutting an entire department. And in this case, this department happened to be a very strong pro-union department. They also made significant changes to the health plan, which the judge also basically said was illegal. And it's really important that the rest of the workers know at that hotel, if something like this happens to you, right, that there are people who are willing to stand up.
The right to be able to work and get respect on the job without fear of discipline or discharge without just cause. That doesn't exist under the law. Under the law, you can get fired for any reason at any time, as long as it's not discriminatory, and that's very hard to prove. With the union, you actually have protection about that. My name is Henry Tamarin. I'm president of Local 1 Unite Here and an executive vice president of Unite Here International Union. Our union goes back to the late 1800s. The primary group of workers that we represent is in the hospitality industry. Restaurants, hotels, food service, gaming. We are very active in the immigrants' rights movement. And we're very active in the gay and lesbian and transgender community in terms of representing who our members are and some of the social issues that we take on. There's a whole variety of rights having to do with how you get paid, how you work, what your schedule is, that comes with any job. Even the few rights that exist under the law, if there's not some mechanism to enforce them in the workplace, they really don't function.
Yes, I love my job. I do, honestly. My name is Kimmy Jordan. I work at the Holiday Inn Cass Hotel. I've been a housekeeper there for the last 5 years. Part of working in the union hotel is like deciphering like what the contract is in the handbook. And so the handbook kind of has some things in there that kind of, it kind of didn't go hand in hand with what the union is about, And so they didn't have an attendance policy. And they came out with this attendance policy where we would get wrote up if we call off more than 3 times. And so one of the things that our contract, men in the union, stated that we had a right to 5 sick days. And, and that's one of the things that struck me as unusual, and one of the things that we kind of battled with, And again, just having a union kind of protected us from being wrote up or being, in trouble for calling off, for being sick, like, who does that? And I think that's what the union means to me. Like, you don't have to suck it up, and take what they dish to you. But what we do is we gather the information, we talk, and we figure out like what the next step is, particularly in a certain instance for that person in their situation. And if it's unjust, we follow the process of what, the grievance process.
I'm a strictly believer in enforcing a contract because the company do enough to try to get over. And if we help them, they just do a little bit more. And I tell my coworkers all the time, don't have me defend you if you're in the wrong. My name is Badri Bonds. I am a cook at Macaroni Grill. I've been working for HMS Host for 7 years. I've been a shop steward for 6 for Local 1. If you're in the right, your case is going to win regardless. But if you have some doubt to your case, they're going to pick up on it because the company is smart. They're not dummies. And I had a young lady, for example, she had a lot of tardiness and by their policy, if you get your occurrence, and I told her, if you don't come right, I can't defend you. And unfortunately, she kept being late and they fired, and she like, you supposed to defend me. I said, what can I do? You didn't follow the policy. You can't work on time. Even if you have, I know people that explain their situation, like a young lady who just can't get there. She's always 5 to 10 minutes late, but she explained why she's late, and there was a mutual agreement. But she did not want to go through the process of trying to save her job.
Yeah, Carmen Sandoval, who stood up at the boycott launch press event. After that happened, I guess it was head of HR or something, took her into a back room and like just absolutely berated her, told her she was a horrible person, attacked her character.
No, they shouldn't, but they try to pry into everybody's life. Like my manager tells me all the time, this is your family, and I'm like, no, this is not, this is my job. The very first thing is you can't get hired unless you get the background check, and then you take a drug test on the condition of your hiring. No, I think a drug test is basically an invasion of privacy sometimes. Do it really perform? I can understand if you show signs at work you are not performing to your ability, but if somebody smoked weed 3 days ago and it shows up on their test, I think it's just an invasion of privacy.
I find mandatory drug testing repugnant. One of the issues that actually we're grappling with in this round of hotel negotiations is the issue of mandatory testing when a worker is involved in an accident. The effect of it is that people don't report on-the-job injuries. And that creates a dangerous situation. We found extensive abuse of this in some of the hotels recently, where people, in fact, will get injured on the job. They will get drug tested before they get treated for their injury. Certainly, fear exists in a union workplace just like it does in a non-union workplace, but with a degree of organization that readily can be overcome. And one thing that we see constantly in a unionized workplace is people who have been quiet their entire lives, once they get organized, feel very comfortable about speaking out, and often speaking out forcefully. And that's exciting. In a well-run workplace, the need to do that is not as urgent, because there's been a developed relationship. There's respect on the part of the managers towards the workers that's been developed over the years, and there's an understanding that that standard needs to be maintained.